Hello, oli, welcome back to this channel, The Colombian Linguist, a place where you learn Spanish with a Caribbean voice. We're gonna continue with our Module 1, which is about beginner A1-A2 levels according to the Common European Framework of References for Languages. And remember, we are focusing on these two descriptors, A1, A2, basic users. For our module, we call these beginner level. So in our day 2, we are gonna be talking about Spanish pronunciation, the basics. So we're gonna focus on the basics of pronunciation, such as accent mark and some letters that are pronounced differently when they are combined with some vowels. And we are gonna have an activity to evaluate. Like by the end of this video, we're gonna have an activity where you're gonna evaluate your understanding of this lesson. So, pronunciación. Ese es nuestro tema de hoy, la pronunciación. Remember that in our last video, day 1, in which we were learning the ABC, el alfabeto en español, we had this slide where you could see all the consonants, the vowels. We were understanding how we pronounce these. And something fascinating about Spanish is that it's very phonetic. You read what you have in the, like in whatever you are reading, in the textbook, in a piece of paper. So what you have, the word that you have there is what you have to read. So remember, the consonants are these ones we have in this part of our video. So consonantes, and remember they are very phonetic. You pronounce what you have. So B, C, D, E, F, G, H, J, K, L, M, N, Ñ, P, Q, R, S, T, V, B pequeña, V chica, whatever alternative you want to use for this letter. W, that's the one that I use for W, X, Y, or J, and Z. And then we have the vowels, which are very phonetic as well. You pronounce exactly the vowels, the sounds of the vowels: A, E, I, O, U, right? So they don't change. What we're gonna see that change is that what I was explaining in the other video, in which you have we were reading these examples in our previous video in day 1. If you didn't watch it, go and watch it, because it's very important to go over the videos, so you don't, like, the sequence of videos, so you don't lose track of what we're talking. But here we have one more time those examples. But before we go over the examples, I want to explain these very carefully. So we have the consonant C, and then the C with an A, C-A, is pronounced as K. The C with the O, is pronounced as Ko. C-U-Q, Ka-ko-ku, right? That's how we are gonna pronounce that, those two combinations. So when you have the C and you have A, O, U, Ka, ko, ku. But what happened if we have this combination over here? The C with the E, la C con la E, is C. So it's not K. C and E, C and I, is C. C, C. Ka, C, C, ko, ku, right? If we want, or if we have a word that is spelled C-E, remember, C is not K. Now, for that sound, que and ki, we are going to have the combination q, u, and then the letter e or I. So whenever you have to pronounce that sound, it's going to be q, u, e, q, u, I. Okay, so whenever you have those three letters combined, you're going to say que, ki. Okay, so ka, se, si, ko, ku, but ke, ki with q, u, e, ki, q, u, I. Now, another letter that we see that is kind of, how do you pronounce this, right? Is the G. So whenever you have G, U is gu, G, O, go, G, A, ga. Gu, go, ga, right? With the G with the E is he, right? It's not ge, it's he. And then the G with the I is he. How do we have the pronunciation as ge or gi? We need G-U, right? And the I, G-U, and the E. So gi, ge is just when you have that combination. So G-U-I, G-U-E, gi, ge. Yeah, so that's why here when we have GA we say ga, so gato, and then when we have GO is go, agosto, GU, agua, right? But here we don't pronounce this as if we have GE, it's not ge, the pronunciation is different, and that's why we have in this part he. So it's as if we had a J, J-E, G-E, they are pronounced the same. G-I or J-I, gi. Gi, he, he, he. So he, he, but that sound, ge and gi, is G-U-I, G-U-E, what we have in this part. Okay, so keep that in mind. Ga, gato, ge, guerra, gi, guitarra, go, agosto, gu, agua. Okay, so with the Z, la Z, we are gonna have the Z and the A, sa, the Z and the O, so, and the Z and the U, su. Yeah, I remember when I was in my middle school, la primaria, and I wouldn't say the high school, but when I was in kindergarten and elementary school and all that, my teachers would teach me to pronounce the Z and the A as zapato, zapato, but nobody says zapato. We say zapato, right? So, zapato, basically, when we have sa, so, su, we are gonna say the S, like if you had an S, right? So, sa, zapato, sapo. Now, I'm teaching you my Colombian Caribbean Spanish, el costeñol. This is like how we pronounce it in Latin America, I would say. But of course, if you go to Spain, this pronunciation is gonna vary. So keep that in mind. I'm teaching you how we pronounce it in Colombia. Because I'm aware in Spain, people say zapato, as if you had the TH. So zapato, something like that. I'm not very familiar with that, but I'm gonna look that information up, and in another video I can teach you that that variation, because it's very important to know the variation. So keep that in mind. In Latin America, at least in Colombian Caribbean Spanish, and in Colombia and Latin American countries, we say zapato, right? So there is no difference between saying zapato and cerrado. It's the same pronunciation. The same for cine, for zoo or zoológico, and azul. Yeah, so the other one that we have here is the X, la X. And basically it's because for the word Mexico, we don't say Mexico, but we say Mexico as if it were a J, right? For Texas, we don't say Texas in Spanish, we say Texas. So it's good to keep that in mind. Yeah, so xilófono is if you had an S or even a C. But there are some words where you need to use the X as if it were a J, like Oaxaca. But yeah, so those are some words, basic pronunciation that I want to cover in this video. I don't want to go into pro level. Maybe in the future we're gonna have or no, maybe in our next level, in our next module, which is intermediate, I'm gonna give you more information about pronunciation, but for now this is what we have. Yeah, so don't forget this: CA, CA, CO, CU, CACO, Q. But in order to have those sounds with the E and the I, you have to use Q. QU, QU. QUE, QUI. So ke and ki. Ga, ge, gi, go, gu. Sa, se, si, so, su. Here they have the same, the J and the E and the G and the E, they have the same pronunciation. So jeje, jiji, jefe, genio, jirafa, gitano. The J and the A, jamón, J-O-J, J-U, Julio. So hu, ho, ha. Yeah, so we are gonna go over these in a more advanced level, intermediate, and then advanced level in our next modules. As for now, this is what we have, and yeah. Okay, so let's keep going. Our next topic is gonna be about las sílabas tónicas, because that's what we have. We have sílabas tónicas in Spanish. And, well, but first, what is a sílaba, right? So a sílaba is when we have a combination of a consonant and a vowel. Basically what we had before in the previous slide when we were talking about this, like CA, so CA is a syllable. This QUE is a syllable, right? So ka, ke, ki, ko, ku, those are syllables. In Spanish, and in any language, or at least in English and Spanish, we have syllables. Those are the languages we're talking about right now. But in Spanish, we have sílabas tónicas, and that's basically is that syllable where you have to put that stress, the most important, prominent stress in the sentence, right? So basically it's like putting all your emphasis when you talk in that syllable, right? So yeah, for example, if we have the word alemán, so alemán, man is the sílaba tónica, right? And as sílaba tónica, some of them have an accent mark, some of them don't have any accent mark, like alemana. We have, this is the sílaba tónica, but we don't use an accent mark, una tilde. So alemana, we don't say alemana or alemana, alemana. Japonés, so the accent mark is in the E in the last syllable, so we say japonés. Profesor, estudiante, profesora, brasileño, hospital, estudiar, libro, lección, compañero, madre. So basically in this example, and this example is also taken from the same book that we mentioned in the previous video, and we had the cover of the book in the beginning of this video as well. But I would say all the words, there are some exceptions that I don't want to mention right now, but let's think that in Spanish we have sílabas tónicas, right? So alemán, alemana, and that's where you put all the emphasis. That syllable where you put all the emphasis, the stressed. That's what we call tónica, sílaba tónica. Yeah, so let's do a quick exercise, and that is spelling, right? So we can use the alphabet that we learned in the previous lesson, and then let's write it down. So what we're gonna do is that I'm going to spell 5 words for you all, and you're gonna write it down, okay, on a piece of paper. If you don't have a piece of paper with you, this is the chance to go and grab one piece of paper and a pen or pencil, so we can do this activity together. But yeah, okay, so if you're not ready right now, pause the video and come back. But let's do this. I'm gonna spell out 5 words for you all, and then we're gonna check, right? Okay, so my first word is gonna be, okay, and it's gonna be super easy because you have the words in front of you, right? So, okay, the first word is M-A-D-E. R-E. M-A-D-R-E. Can you guess what word that is? Yeah, of course you know, right? So it's madre. And the syllable, the stressed in that syllable is in ma. Madre. Does it have an accent mark? No, it doesn't. So madre. The second word. H-O-S-P-I-T-A-L. Did you write it down? I'm gonna spell that out again for you. So, H-O-S-P-I-T-A-L. What's the word? Can you pronounce it before I pronounce it? Yeah, you got it. So the second word is hospital. So la sílaba tónica in this word is tal, hospital. Hospital en inglés, hospital en español. Now let's go to the third word. J-A-P-O-N-E-S. It has an accent mark in the E, in the E. For the second time, J-A-P-O-N-E-S. An accent mark in the E. What's the word? Can you pronounce it? Remember the J-A? Ha. See? Japonés. Muy bien. Very good. Now the fourth word. Word number 4. So let's go with this one. L-I-B-R-O. L-I-B-R-O. What's the word? Libro. Muy bien. Very nice. And the word, la palabra, number 5, the last word, is number 5, la número 5, is, let's do this one, B, R, A, S, I, L, E, N, O. I'm gonna repeat that one more time. So, B, R, A, S, I, L, E, N, O. What's the word? Can you say it? Yeah, so brasileño, brasileño. The sílaba tónica, the accent mark goes in, well, there is no accent mark, but the stress of the word is in le, brasileño. So the emphasis, the stressed, the emphasis, and the most important, well, not the most important, but where you have to put all the strength of your voice is in le. So brasileño, brasileño. Muy bien. So we have madre, which means mother, my mother, madre. We have the word hospital, hospital. We have the word japonés, Japanese. We have the word brasileño, Brazilian, and libro, book, right? So those are the words. Remember, if you want to learn the meaning of these words, it's very easy. Take a piece of paper, write it down, and make your own vocabulary list, a word bank, right? Where you're gonna expand and you can pronounce the words. Look up for the meaning of the words, okay? So now we are gonna go to our second part of this lesson. Well, we have already done this, but the second part of the lesson is about pronunciation, of course, but this time we're gonna go over the written accent marks rules. So the stress that goes with the written accent marks, and we are gonna know some linguistic terms. Please don't get frustrated if you don't learn this by heart. Just remember the rules. That's the most important part, right? So I call written accent mark that thing that is on top of some letters. That's for me and in Spanish. And when I was learning Spanish back in school, in high school, middle school, elementary school, kindergarten, we call this tilde. So that's a word that I use for the written accent mark that you can find in Spanish. Yeah, so that's what we are gonna cover. Let's start with the first one, which is las palabras llanas. Las palabras llanas, also called paroxytone words in linguistics, these are the words that have the stress on the second to last syllable. Okay? So those words that end in vowels N or S, they do not need a written accent mark. They don't need a tilde. We also have las palabras agudas. These palabras agudas are also named oxytone words, and these are the words that have the stress on the last syllable. But what is last syllable? What is the second to last syllable? We are going to see some examples right now, but remember, these are rules, okay? So keep that in mind. These palabras agudas, they do not need a written accent mark, a tilde, when the word doesn't end in N or S, okay? So, for example, here we are gonna see some examples for, what is this? Is it a palabra llana or is a palabra aguda? It has the tilde on the last syllable, right? So it means that is a palabra aguda. Yeah. So israelí, that's how you pronounce that word, israelí, iraquí, marroquí, tailandés, iraní, francés, inglés, alemán. So these are nationalities, of course, and yeah, so they have the tilde on the last syllable, so they are palabras agudas. Now, we are gonna see more examples that don't have an S or they don't have an N, and these words end with a different consonant, and that's why you don't have a tilde in the last syllable, but they are still palabras agudas. So here we have, so the linguistic term for palabras agudas are oxytone words, just in case I didn't mention that before. So we have the word español, so the stress, the emphasis in that word is in ñol, español. Doesn't have a tilde, but it has an accent, the stressed, in ñol. We have the word Ecuador, and we have the word estar. Okay, so those are more examples of palabras agudas. Now let's see some examples of palabras llanas. So here we have mesa, so mesa, the stress in me. Mejí, there we have the X. We don't pronounce this like C, but he, mejí, and then ka is the stress. The stress of that word is in that syllable, in the second to last syllable. The last syllable is no, but the second to last syllable, penultimate, la sílaba penúltima is in ka, so that's the stressed. That's where you have to do all the stress, all the emphasis goes in that syllable. So mexicano, and the same for colombiano. Okay, so why do we need to differentiate and know the difference between these? Because whenever you have these two words, they are gonna mean different things. So hable, like speak, talk to me. Hablé, I talked, I spoke. So you see the different, there is a difference in meaning depending on the stress of the word. So keep that in mind. Try to remember these rules. Try to put the emphasis, the stress in the syllable according to these rules. And yeah, so stick to these rules. You're gonna need it for Spanish. So hablé. We also have esperé, wait, esperé, I waited. Okay. What is another example of this? Why do we need to know this? Pase, right? Go, come, or come in, come on in. Pasé, I passed. Okay, so yeah, we need these rules. We need to know what these tildes are for. So yeah. Okay, now we have two more rules according for these accent marks. We have las palabras esdrújulas y las palabras sobresdrújulas, and basically, one more time, the accent mark or the stress of these syllables go to the antepenúltima sílaba. We're gonna see that. What that means in an example, and the same for the sobresdrújulas. They have the accent in the before the antepenúltima sílaba, but we are gonna see the example. So we have pájaro. So this is the last syllable. Then we have this one that is the second to last syllable, and then the esdrújulas. Las palabras esdrújulas are the ones that have the accent mark in the syllable that goes before the penultimate syllable. before that second to last syllable. So, pájaro. We also have médico and rápido, okay? We also have música. And something that is good about this is that this rule is perfect and is absolute. So if it's esdrújula, if the tilde is in that third to last syllable, antepenúltima sílaba, is always, you are always gonna find a tilde, and that is gonna tell you that the stress of that word is in there, in that syllable, okay? So keep that in mind. And then here we have sobresdrújulas. So here, remember these words have pájaro, pájaro, but then for the sobresdrújulas are the longer, like a longer word than pájaro that has 3 syllables. This one have 4 syllables. So llévamelo, llévamelo. And the stressed in that word is in y. And you have the tilde there, so it's not llévamelo, but llévamelo, llévamelo. Okay? Dígaselo, cuéntamelo. Okay? So, these are the rules we have to keep in mind to when we talk about written accent marks. Yeah. So let me know if you have any questions. You can always leave a comment here in this video, and I can go and answer your questions. Now we have some exercises, pronunciation. Okay, more about pronunciation, where we're gonna use the rules. We're gonna see about the sílabas tónicas and the pronunciation for each word. So, pronuncia estas palabras, pronounce these words, con énfasis en la sílaba o en la vocal correcta. ¿Dónde está el énfasis? Where is the stress? And why? So, what we're gonna do is you can either pause the video and do it by yourself for about 5 minutes, try to read all these words, or just listen to me and try to think why are these words, why do you think that the stress is in this in X syllable. Okay, so I'm just gonna read them, and then you can check if you were correct, or if you just want to listen to me pronouncing these words, that's totally fine as well. So let's start with the first one. So están, hombre, peso, mujer, plástico, María, Rodríguez, Patricia, exámenes, lápiz, necesitar, perezoso, actitud, acciones, dólares, francés. This is very interesting because dólares, sometimes I have had students that says dolores, which is pain, and dólares is dollars. So try to pronounce this one, dólares. Also, the vowels tend to be kind of difficult sometimes. So, O-A-E, dólares, okay? Exámenes, necesitar. So, the vowels are they are easy, but they can be tricky as well. So, keep that in mind. Try to remember the pronunciation for the vowels, A, E, I, O, U, and then try to pronounce this and put this stress where where it is. Like if it has a tilde, easy. If it doesn't have a tilde, go with the rule that says it goes on the second to last syllable. right? So the penúltima sílaba, put the stress there, and yeah, you're gonna be good. Okay, so let's move on. Let's go to more words that you can pronounce. Here, what I have done is that I have divided them into syllabus, so syllables, and for you to practice. So one more time, you can pause the video, do the exercise. You can use your phone and try to record yourself pronouncing them, and then check if what you have done is fine. After, like, you pause the video, record yourself, and then play the video, because I'm gonna read all the words for you to listen to them and check if you do the exercise that I'm saying. It's gonna be great. So the first set of words are aquí, papá, adiós, busqué. I'm gonna say them one more time. So aquí, papá, adiós, busqué. The second set of words. So we have práctico, murciélago, teléfono, archipiélago. Again, práctico, murciélago, teléfono, archipiélago. The third set of words, la tercera parte, el tercer set de palabras, Jiménez, Rodríguez, Pérez, Gómez. Last names. Again, Jiménez, Rodríguez, Pérez, Gómez. Number 4. Psicología, sociología, sabiduría, energía. Psicología, sociología, sabiduría, energía. And the last set of words, we have historia, terapia, pretoria, memoria. Historia, terapia, pretoria, memoria. Great. So remember, you can do the exercise, record yourself with your phone, and then check the pronunciation with this video. Okay, pause, do the exercise, and check. Yeah, so another thing that is important about learning where the stress goes is, or what the tilde means, is that in Spanish we have what is named los homófonos, and those are basically two words that are written similarly, like they have the same spelling, but because of the stress mark, the meaning is different, right? So remember, homophones or homophonos are words that sound the same but have different meanings and different spellings. Okay, so sometimes they have different spellings because of the accent mark. So we have the word él and él. Te, tú, sí, mi. I'm just gonna say they have different meanings. Like, for example, él is the article the, but él with tilde is he. Tú is the possessive, like your phone, tu teléfono. But tú with tilde is you. So I'm not gonna go deeply in the meanings. If you are curious, you are free to look for the meaning of this, because I'm more like specifying that sometimes it's important to know these accent marks and the rules, because you have these kind of words in Spanish where you have the same kind of sound, but they have different meanings. And sometimes it's different, the different spelling because of the tilde also. You can say that. And las palabras interrogativas, the WH questions or interrogative words like qué, what, quién, who, dónde, where, cuándo, when, por qué, why, cuál, which one, cómo, how, they have a tilde, and you have to put the stressed, the most, the emphasis goes on the syllable that has the accent mark, the tilde. So keep that in mind as well. Another way to learn about, well, not to learn, but practice pronunciation is through tongue twisters. I love tongue twisters. They are amazing. They are like something that you can like use as a challenge, or you can just practice with it whenever I'm just like reading it, timing how fast you're doing this, and try to correct your pronunciation while you are doing them, right? So I'm just gonna read them. You can do it on your own as well. Pause the video, take a screenshot, write it down. It's also good for you to write down. Even though you don't know the meaning of the words, you can start writing. And if you are curious enough, go look up for the meaning of the words. But it's a good pronunciation activity, like an activity where you can practice your pronunciation. So I'm gonna read both of these tongue twisters, trabalenguas in Spanish, and then you can check if you did the same or you are learning, right? So you can make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I make mistakes in English. Anyways, so we have R con R guitarra, R con R carril. Rápido ruedan los carros, rápido el ferrocarril. I'm gonna do it one more time slowly. R con R guitarra, R con R carril. Rápido ruedan los carros, rápido el ferrocarril. Now faster. R con R guitarra, R con R carril, rápido ruedan los carros, rápido el ferrocarril. So there you're gonna practice double R, right? The rolling R of your R's. Okay, so now we have the other one, the one that is next to it. We have lado, ledo, lido, lodo, ludo. Decirlo al revés, lo dudo. Ludo, lodo, lido, ledo, lado. ¿Qué trabajo me ha costado? Very hard to say this. So here is a good tongue twister to practice vowels. Okay, so yeah, so do it. I'm gonna say it one more time slowly so you can catch or you can listen to me after you do it. So we have lado, ledo, lido, lodo, ludo. Decirlo al revés, lo dudo. Ludo, lodo, lido, ledo, lado. ¿Qué trabajo me ha costado? Yeah. All right, so this is just another activity, another strategy that you can use to practice your pronunciation. And we have the last activity, which is about evaluating, self-assessment, right? So you're going to evaluate what you have learned. Here we have 3 activities plus a quick self-assessment. So in the first one, it says clasifica las palabras, so you're going to classify the words. You're going to write if they are palabras agudas, llanas, esdrújulas, or sobresdrújulas, according to what we have learned in this video. In the exercise B, you have lleva tilde or no. Does it have an accent mark or no? You're going to write yes or no, so sí or no, and you're going to correct those words that need an accent mark and don't have an accent mark. Then for the exercise C, you have the final activity, which is write 5 words written by you. You can look it up in Google as well, but write them down and check if you use an accent mark, if you use a tilde, or if you don't, and try to pronounce them yeah, 5 words, whatever word you want. And then the self-assessment, la autoevaluación, you can just leave me a comment in this video. Yes, I understand the rules and I can apply them. Yo entendí las reglas y las puedo aplicar. 2, I need more practice with accent marks rules, especially with aguda and llana. Or 3, I need more practice with esdrújulas and sobresdrújulas words. So just let me know. One more time, pause the video and then check the answers because this video has the answers. Or for the exercises A and B, the other ones you can just write what you want. And the self-assessment as well. Leave me a comment. But pause the video, do the activity, take 5 minutes doing this, and then come back and check your answers. So yeah, these are the answers. Canción aguda, rápido esdrújula, reloj aguda, pájaro esdrújula, dígamelo sobresdrújula, difícil llana, sofá aguda, música esdrújula. And then for the exercise B, el ejercicio B, we have café sí, joven no, inglés sí, árbol sí, feliz no, examen no, lápiz sí, and dígaselo sí. And there you can see where the accent, where the tilde goes, right? So some of them, they have a tilde, some of them don't have any tilde. And yeah, those are the answers. And this is the end. Thank you for staying here all this lesson for day number 2. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, click like, leave a comment, and share with your friends, family members, other people that want to learn Spanish. Thank you so much for everything and for being here and paying attention to all this lesson. Bye bye.